Hi, welcome back. This is video 2 of my content strategy series. If you haven't watched the first video, you may want to circle back and take a look. That whole first video was all about building some ideas and brainstorming around the kinds of things that you want to touch on and also present to potential customers and the people who are following you currently. Last week, I provided some starter questions to help you get the wheels turning. I provided a worksheet that's going to help you figure out the kind of content that you want to generate for your audience. I do have a link to that video in the first video, which I'm also going to be referencing here. So take a peek at that if you haven't done so already. If you want to follow along, I will be walking you through the entire process of putting these things together. And then in the end, you will have a strategy and topics in place ready to rock for 6 months worth of content. Today, we're going to focus on building specificity around your content categories. We're also going to create monthly themes and identify blog topics based off of these themes. So why don't we take a look at last week's worksheet? I will use myself and my business, AlchemyThree, as an example. So I'm going to be the guinea pig for this exercise. I'm not going to walk through the entire worksheet, just some pieces that helped me put together categories and specific topics for myself over the course of the next 6 months. But you will see how a lot of these questions are going to be quite valuable, and it really is important to go through each question and answer them as thoroughly as possible, because it really will help you to generate more ideas as time goes on. So this first question is, what do I find myself answering all the time? A lot of the questions that we have at AlchemyThree are usually around how to generate more leads, usually leveraging a website, do-it-yourself marketing tips, content creation and strategy, which is actually what I'm doing here right now with you, social media and getting started with social media. People do tend to get quite overwhelmed when it comes to social stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. Website info. Oftentimes businesses have websites that were built and they want to make sure that it is up to snuff and that it is capable of growing with their business and scaling over time. And then of course SEO, which is search engine optimization. So let's take a look at page 2. So I've listed here web design, branding, marketing, social media, and organic on-page SEO for websites. And I'm going to skip this part right here, but I am going to scroll down to the things that I'm passionate about. And this also helps to speak to my target audience. So in our case, helping women-owned businesses identify, fine-tune, and spread their message. Helping small business owners through education and community. And telling stories and creating thoughtful and compelling design. Okay, so those are key pieces of the puzzle that you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about the kinds of people and potential clients that you want to attract. So now that I've given you an overview of what I've been able to work through on my side for applying these pieces to the blog content, let's now jump over to the themes and the topics that I was able to identify based on the answers to these questions. Okay, so here we are in a very simple Google Doc that I created. So what I've done is I've blocked out themes for September through February, so the next 6 months. Some of you might be blogging once a month, in which case you may want to have a brainstorming, a brain dump, just kind of list a bunch of ideas. In my case, we like to blog once a week, which means we need 4 blogs usually per month. So that's what I've done. I've created 4 topics for each theme. So at the top of the list, we have blogging and content strategy, which is what I'm doing now. So the topics might be how to set up your blog in WordPress, examples of the kinds of content that you can utilize when you're creating this blog, how to do your own keyword research, how to get more visitors to your blog. Okay, so that's already 4 blog topics. And you also want to keep in mind creating compelling subject lines, which I haven't really done here, but I've sort of am kind of writing in subject line format, because I know that that's the form that this will take, and that subject line is incredibly important. October, social media, right? So I do get a lot of questions about social media. People are often looking for guidance around social media. So I put together my 4 topics. And then I'm also, and this is another thing that you need to keep in mind, I'm giving them valuable, actionable topics that they can take, they can consume, and then they can also implement themselves, right, with the tips that I've given them, which helps to boost my level of trust. They're going to start to trust me over time, which hopefully I'm a trustworthy person. I want to be helpful. That is also part of the passions that I listed. Is helping people is something that I just genuinely love to do. So that's also a part of this. November, lead generation. So that means bringing in more prospects and helping my clients to figure out how they can do that. So I don't need to walk through all of these, but you can see, the last 3 themes here are DIY marketing tips. I have 4 topics there. Website optimization, I have 4 topics there. And search engine optimization. Hopefully this has given you an idea of how you can grab some of these themes based off of the first worksheet and really start to drill down. Certainly, you could even get much more specifics than some of the things you see here. For instance, under my do-it-yourself marketing tips, you could do a whole month just on LinkedIn. You can really get very granular, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can make it very simple because oftentimes these are new concepts for your audience, right? And you want to make sure that it's easily digestible and that it's a pretty quick, fairly easy, actionable read. Okay, so I'm hoping that that was helpful. I hope you're all following along and filling out these worksheets and working along with me to get content created for the next 6 months. It's important to stay consistent, to get the ball rolling, and just to jump in and get started. Oftentimes you'll find it much easier and enjoyable than you might think. I am here if you need. Please feel free to shoot me an email or contact me through AlchemyThree.com. I am available for quick, free 15-minute sessions if you need some help or feedback or direction. And remember, don't overthink it, right? Use this as a brain dump exercise, and all ideas are good ideas. So just keep working at it. And sometimes it helps to find an accountability partner because it's easier to create content or to come up with ideas for others than it is for yourself. So please consider this your homework and stay tuned next week where I will be walking you through keyword and hashtag research and the tools that you can use to do that for free, and also tools for finding shareable and compelling content to your social channels. So stay tuned, please subscribe, follow along, and I will see you next week. Thanks.